All right, good morning. Let's start with the head. So I'd like you to hold the head, just to give it a little bit of support. Drop the head to one side and just semicircles just on that side, letting your opposite shoulder drop. Nice and soft in the jaw. Just to make it slightly less brutal and easier warm up for the neck, but also having that awareness into the shoulder. And then pass the head over into the other hand. Again, shoulder nicely relaxed, and just checking in with the other side of the neck. Letting the shoulders drop, teeth parted, maybe even the lips parted. Wonderful. And then take the head back to center, taking the chin to the chest. If you feel nothing, interlace the fingers and draw the chin a little bit more into the chest. Nothing brutal, more thinking about being curious than forcing. Lift the head. Lift the shoulders to support the back of the neck and lift the head. And then come center. Let's turn the head all the way over our shoulder, looking across. Feeling everything, whatever there is to feel on the opposite shoulder. And how far in your peripheral vision can you see behind you? And then come center over to the other side. Using your eyeballs, look all the way behind you. Maintain your range of mobility. And then come center. Same care with the shoulders. Let's hold the shoulders, take the shoulders all the way forward so the shoulder blades separate. And then guide the shoulders back, this retracted position where the shoulder blades come together. We're stretching pec majors, pec minors, wide open across the chest. And let's head up forwards again. And back once more. It's good to hold the shoulders. It just gives a little bit more information, feedback about the movement. Now keeping ourselves in this protracted position, a little bit of movement up and down. So because we've separated the shoulder blades will be snuggled against the back ribs. So it's a little bit of a buffering, a little bit of a shine to the back of the body, just again exploring. And then the opposite with a retraction of the shoulders, a little bit of a squeeze between the shoulder blades, lifting and lowering from this open position in the chest. And then still holding the shoulders, guide the shoulders forwards, up, back, and down. Forwards, up, back, and down. Now, you know yourself, if you tend to get lower back problems, make sure your bottom isn't sticking out. Try to keep a neutral spine there. We keep soft in the head, the jaw, the neck. Nice deep breaths. Now synchronizing with the breath. Breathe in, up, breathe out, back, and down. Opposite elbows, one elbow comes up, like you're back stroking. So now we're starting to involve muscles around the ribs a little bit more, into the waist. Go at a pace that you can control and you don't feel like you're flinging your limbs. Just wakening things up, take those circles in the other direction. So you should feel like you're wringing out the waist here. And then let's go specifically onto the ribs by opening the arms out wide, legs a little bit wider, and reaching for the side wall. But notice I'm not dipping, it's on the side bend, just to reach for the side. So I'm putting this over the hip and then over to the other side. So it's as if the ribs are just gliding side to side. Shoulders down. Try to think about where the head is, even if it's 1 degree too far forwards. That's a really unnecessary and held stress on the back of the neck. All right, now holding the ribs, let's see if we can take the ribs forwards and back. So think about the ribs position over the pelvis. So it's coming forwards and then dipping back. And then all the way around, forwards to the side, back to the side. And don't worry if there's not much movement. We can work on this over time. Just try to think about if there were laser beams on the bottom of your ribs, you'd be drawing a circle on the floor and then take those in the other direction. It's funny how not a very big movement can actually feel quite intense. Onto the hips. Let's keep the legs wide, hold the hips, and guide the hips in a circle. So we're working into the hips leading with the pelvis. So notice how this impacts the legs, the backs of the legs, inner thighs, hip flexors, a little bit on the outer hip here, although that's slightly harder to reach area. And notice we'll have started to circle in a direction that feels more normal to us. So let's stop there, go in the other direction. We're going to just check in with what might be a little bit more uncomfortable or unfamiliar about going in this direction. And explore it, embrace it. It's good for our brains to go in the opposite direction to the one that we default to. So one more circle in this direction, and then we'll stay with the hips, but instead of leading with the pelvis, we'll lead with the thigh bone. So take your weight into one foot, and let's draw a big circle with the other leg. So still the same muscles, but approaching from a different angle. You can hold on to the wall to help with your balance. So our target area is the hip, the mobility in the hip. Now take it the other way. Just being curious, we don't need to go into your biggest range of movement. We want to more find what's a gliding, nice, smooth, comfortable movement. And then keeping the leg in the same place, the upper leg, just allowing the lower leg to kind of wobble shape. I'm not trying to take the shin into the biggest cone shape possible, because these are obviously the stabilizers working in the knee. We just want to give them a little bit of a workout without force, definitely not without force. And again, take it the other way and notice what's different about this direction. Perhaps it challenges the balance a little bit more. And then just onto the ankle, circle. And again, take it the other way. Why did we not let this direction first off? It's a lot of weight on one leg, isn't it? Let's take out that leg and let's start this other one. So again, going back to the hip, to plant, coast your base leg so you feel secure, and we'll go into the hip of the other leg. So if we were in a supine position for Pilates, taking hip circles, we can really feel this in the core more, because we're working that long lever, the heavy lever of the leg against gravity. But we're still using the core muscle there, not only to stop us from falling over, but in the movement of this leg. Take those circles in the other direction. Kicking's okay, as long as there's no discomfort. Good strengthening for that base leg, ankle. Okay, onto the shin. So it's the shin just drawing a gentle cone shape, but more having the sense of shrugging out any tension from the knee. So definitely no forced big circles, and then take it the other way. Finally onto the ankle, nice big circles. I always go outward in my circles first with the ankle. So it always feels a little bit alien then. So let's change direction, take it the other way, whatever it is for you. And then shake out. Just take a little swing around the body, where we're switching from weight from one foot to the other. We're going to use the structure of basic sun salutations just to get the heart rate up a little bit, and then start to use the whole body together. We're just been isolating joints. Let's get the whole thing working together. So we've made the feet right under the hips, bottom touch, shoulders back and down. Remember we said about the head, even just 1 or 2 degrees in the forward position is an unnecessary stress on the back. So head nicely in line on top of the ribs. Let's take a deep breath in, stretch the arms overhead and come to this cross position. Take a twist, looking over your shoulder, use your eyeballs, the shoulders, your ribs, and then come center, big breath in, stretch, cross to the other direction. Twist, feel the whole spine rotating, so you can still keep the hips to the front. Come center, come into a full fold. Arms overhead for a big stretch, then chin to chest, roll it all the way down into your forward fold. Halfway lift, we're looking for a 90-degree angle between the thighs and the chest, long neck. Come down to the floor with the hands, step your right foot far back, far enough that your front knee is over the ankle. Take a moment here to draw your inner thighs towards each other. So that means your left hip crease pulled back to a much more stable end in the hips. If you can't take the weight into the left hand, float your right arm up and in front of you. Then like a pendulum, stroke the floor and take the arm behind you so you can stabilize the rest of the body. And then place the hand on the floor. Left arm, reach it forwards. Just check how far you can come. So more being curious than forcing it up. Brush the floor, take the arm back. The higher you go, the more you'll feel it into your triceps. Hand to the floor, either do one more set each arm or take both arms forwards. Remember, squeeze the inner thighs together, float the arms back, shoulders down away from the ears, reach into the fingertips. Last time. Nice long neck. Hands to the floor, stepping back to a plank. That might mean knees down, but feel a really long line in the back of the body. And come down to your belly. So if knees are down first, come down to the belly and take a little spine extension. Elbows into the waist, shoulders down. Down dog, point your toes and take it back into that upside down V shape. And take time to pedal it through from one foot to the other. Looking for length in the spine here. So not so important to get the legs really straight. Better to bend them and really feel that lovely length in the spine. Almost a sense of your chest and head coming through the arms. Your sit bones riding up the wall behind. We're stepping the right foot forward. So your knees could come down first and you place the right foot there. And then we'll take the left foot to the front too. Take a big breath in, stretching the arms overhead till the hands meet, and return. We'll do the same, leading with the left side. Take a big breath in and stretch. Cross the arms over and take a twist. Look over your shoulder, ring out the waist. Maybe you're looking a little bit further. Breathe in, stretch overhead, crossing the arms. Take the twist to the other side. Shoulders down, jaw relaxed. Twist. This time it's the forward fold. Big breath in, chin to chest. Roll it down through the spine. No forcing, just gently drawing your belly towards the thighs. Halfway lift. Feel that length in the spine, in the neck, shoulders down away from the ears, back in space. Then stepping the left foot far back. Make those adjustments if you need. If this knee's too far forwards, it's going to be a strain on your Achilles. So let's find that nice alignment there. Now, your right hip pulled back. That will just secure the hip joint a little bit more. We can press into the floor to take the weight out of the hands. Lift the left arm out in front of you. Stretch for the front wall and then glide the fingers to the back wall. Or maybe a little bit higher. Hand to the floor, right arm forwards. Take it back and squeeze your glutes firm up the legs. One more set. With one arm or both, keeping the neck long, so shoulders and ears, nice big gap there. Nice controlled breath, tone in the core, and we step back to a plank. Down to the belly, and take a curl up. So that might be a Sphinx, Cobra, up dog. Take it your pace, your level. Down dog, tucking the toes under, sending the hips high and back. And again, pedaling it through. It gives us an opportunity to stretch those calf muscles. Nice deep breaths in and out of the nose. Lift the heels, bend the knees, look at the hands, and either step your left foot to the front or hold in place. Stepping your right foot forwards, rolling up through the spine, take a big breath in, hands meet and return. Surya Namaskara Series B is the one with the chair. So when we take the arms overhead, now we want to immediately think about the weight into the heels. Imagine you're sitting in a low chair in slow motion. Lowering back, feel that zigzag line the body's creating. Length through the spine, stretching into the fingertips. I can wiggle my toes because the weight's very much back in the heels so that I'm not straining the knees. Hands to the floor, step your right foot back, and then the left. Come down to the belly, and take a curl up or slide your forearms forwards. On the way back, we take a warrior one, warrior two. Hands under the shoulders, tuck your toes. Let's meet in the down dog. And pause. So when we step the right foot forwards, we'll step it to our original place at the front of the mat. And we'll angle the left heel in a little bit towards the center line of the mat. So when you're ready, either stepping or helping the right foot to the front. And then the back heel's going to go to the floor. Find your balance and lift, and we come to warrior one. Warrior one, your hips are square to the front. Bottom slightly tucked, so we're getting a hip flexor stretch on the front of that left leg. Deep breath in, your front knee roughly over the ankle. Back leg as straight as you can manage, but you adjust if there's any pulling on your knee, anything that doesn't feel right. Adjust. We're still in a really nice, strong position, fingers to the ceiling. The arms may not be parallel. A wide V is good. Warrior two, we lift the back heel and we come instead for a 45-degree angle, maybe a 90-degree angle, front heel in line with the back arch, and we open the arms, shoulders back and down. Look at the front middle finger. Maybe have a glance back at that back arm. Sometimes we think it's parallel to the floor and it's a little bit lower. Bottom slightly tucked, front knee charging forwards. Very easy when we lose our concentration for the knee to dip down to maintain an inner thigh stretch. I'm going to cartwheel to the front of the mat. Lower the hands, frame the front foot, and step to the front. We have another chair on the way back. Weight into the heels. Try to find some tone in the belly, shoulders back and down. Reaching into the fingertips. Remember, long spine. Try to avoid hunching up here. Lifting all the way up. Hands meet and return. We just got one more side, leading with the left. Take a breath in and reach overhead. Remember, sitting down in a low chair, weight into the heels, start to send the hips back in space. So we're using the arms as that counterbalance. And at a certain point, we can come all the way, hands to the floor, and step the left foot back. We'll go straight into a plank position. And again, that might be knees down, but shoulders down away from the ears. Almost a sense of corkscrewing the arms in, hands into the floor to keep the arms strong. And we come down to the belly, your waist. It may be the knees, it may be one go. Take a curl up, shoulders down, and we'll meet in a down dog. Nearly there, hopefully your heart's beating a little faster, getting the system going. We're stepping the left foot to the front. So bend, remember warrior one, land with the front foot, the back heel's going down. You can walk your hands up the front leg to find your balance, and then let's meet with the arms overhead. That's your left foot forwards, hips are square to the front, arms straight, so a wide V is fine, bottom tightly tucked, and see that the hips are to the front. Breathing deeply. Check the front knees, it roughly over the ankle. And breathe. Warrior two, we'll press into the back ball of the foot to lift and draw the heel in and come to warrior two. So we check the arms are both parallel to the floor, bottom slightly tucked. See if you've ever done gymnastics, there might be a tendency to stick the bottom out. Let's work the tailbone down to the floor, stretch forwards and backwards, front knee forwards. So careful not to allow the knee to drop in, inner thighs stretching. We're going to cartwheel to the front of the mat. So hands framing the front foot and step to the front. Last time in a chair, big toes together, knees together, squeeze them together and lift the arms. Long, imagine someone's kind of pulling your hips diagonally back and down. Someone's pulling your arms diagonally up and forwards. Find some tone in the abdomen and slowly press your way up. Hands meet and return. Let's go back to that sway around the waist. And then we're coming down to the floor. So you can take a Pilates roll down and find the floor and lower the camera. So let's meet in a cross-legged position. There, that's better. So from a cross-legged position, let's take a sway side to side. So we'll calm down the body a little bit, but with some ease. Fingers find the floor and drop the head to one side. So a little bit of a side bend. It's all nurturing for the neck. And then feel that transference of weight, the weight to the head, as we both drop it to the other side. So these fingers will just trail on the floor. Let's breathe in center, breathe out into the side, lean. Letting the heartbeat regulate. And just finding nice ease in the body. So if we can concentrate on thinking, where's our center of gravity? Where's that transference of weight taking me? How heavy can I make the shoulders? Just moving mindfully so that the rest of the day we might be a little bit more aware of the way we place the head so that we're not straining the back of the body. So always think, for the most part, your head needs to be a little bit further back than you imagine. Let's take a twist, opposite hand to knee. Other fingers posting behind, long spine. And take your gaze even all the way around. So your eyes swiveling, shoulders, ribs. And then take it to the other side. Hands to opposite knee, long spine, and start to swivel. Still working with rotation of the spine. Let's now lift the knees, feet flat to the floor. As if we're taking the Pilates teaser, we're just going to carry on with a couple more twists. I'm going to link the knees with my elbow and fingers, forearm across the knees, and use that strength and stability to open and take a twist with a long arm, looking all the way over. Remember the twist we did with the neck right at the beginning, looking over the shoulder, maybe we can look a little bit further. And then draw the arm center switch over, the other hand, shoulders down, long spine. So try to sit up really tall, using the grip of the fingers around the knees to give us leverage to maybe twist a little bit further. Let's have once more on each side, shoulders down. In that twist, see if you can find some sensations of the whole spine. So we're not just moving, gliding the shoulder blades around the spine, and the actual spine is rotating from the base of the spine right up into the head. Last time to your second side. So let's use that rotational strength now to take it into what would be like a Russian twist. We're taking, imagine we've got a big bowl here. We're twisting all the way, looking over your shoulder and finding how much twist we can get until you feel that in your obliques. Breathe in center, and then we'll take it to the other side. Shoulders stay down, not so much leaning back. Let's just think about how much twist we can get when we're working into those core muscles and develop that rotational strength, which helps us walking, running. So if we breathe in center, we use the strength of that out breath to take us into a twist. We also have that sense of the navel back to the spine and that extra little bit of crunch pulling in the core. Last time each side, breath in center, breathing out into the twist. Don't worry if you're not in sync with me. Let's just use one or two more movements to even ourselves out, left and right. And then holding onto the backs of the knees, let's lift the ankles. This is too tough, you could come back onto your forearms, but only do this if you're not arching the spine. Please don't do this with an arched spine like that. Bottom tucked, then you can rest on the forearms. So it's a real sense of lifting the tailbone up then so that we use the core muscles, we're not straining the lower back. Let's alternate stretching one leg, nice long line in the neck and spine, and then stretch the other. If you've got this and you don't need to hold onto the legs, let's place the arms parallel to the floor. Nice deep breaths. If you feel any niggles at all in the lower back, come into a supine position and straighten one leg at a time from here. No arching in that lower spine, protect your lower back. So whichever position you're in, let's think about navel back to spine and long neck, long spine. Nice deep breaths. Shoulders down. Think about the opening where we're moving the shoulders. Finding that not protracted, not retracted, somewhere in the middle with those shoulders where the shoulders are nicely stabilized. Think about your lower ribs coming together. tummy bottom back to the spine, and then length in the spine. Shoulders back and down, stretching into the fingertips. Then whether you're lying down or in an upright position, we're all going to make lying down and come into the open V. So legs can be straight or bent. Main thing is we find a neutral spine. So let's lift the legs. We'll open the legs, just check out how the stretch feels, and then we'll breathe out and close the legs. So wherever you are, let's find that neutral spine. If you're not clear on your neutral spine, better to fully imprint the lower back. So that's bottom tucked, press the lower back into the floor. We'll breathe in as the legs open, breathe out as the legs close. This is fine to do with bent knees. Breathing in to open, breathing out to close. So I like to have my fingers pressed into my belly. It gives me that kind of feedback that I'm maintaining that pulling in the core and that my spine isn't undulating, moving when the legs move. I've got a sustained pulling in the core and I'm stabilizing so that the spine doesn't move. Shoulders down. You need to shuffle the shoulder blades a little bit closer to the spine to feel the shoulders are nicely supported and relaxed. Go ahead and do that. One more like this with the open V. And then we crisscross, so much smaller movement. If you're feeling you're arching the spine, bend the knees and take the knees a little bit closer into the chest. We come here. If you want to work a little bit harder, crisscross and start to lower the legs, but be really fussy about keeping that lower spine almost flush with the floor, so no curving the lower spine. Very easy in this position for the start to have the chin pointing up to the ceiling, so you can keep it tucked so the back of the neck stays long. Lily there, and then hug the knees into the chest, have a little rock on the spine. We'll take a spinal twist from here, so feet on the floor, arms out wide, and we can shift the bottom, just the bottom of the hips to the right and lower the knees to the left. Taking the gaze across to the right. So your gaze, your head is turning away from the knees, unless that's just not comfortable for your neck, in which case be comfortable. If we're a little bit tight in the shoulders, maybe both shoulder blades aren't flat to the floor, but make those adjustments so that you can relax and settle down. And just take maybe 3 breaths here. If you feel like the legs are sliding, you can use the opposite hand to hold on to the knee. Take a moment. The twist usually feels nice after you've worked the core. Over to the other side. So we can press into the feet to lift the hips as if we were taking a bridge. Hips to the left, knees drop to the right. Take the head the opposite way. Shoulders relaxed. Close the eyes. You can think about this as being like our end of practice Shavasana. If we had longer. So going inside the body and just check out what the body's feeling. Are we holding tension anywhere in the body? It's not really assisting us in developing a healthy spine and maintaining our mobility. We'll finish by hugging the knees into the chest. If you know you really like a child pose, then roll onto your shins and take this position in a prone position. That can feel very comforting. So either way, on your back, like an egg, or forwards in your child pose, give yourself a moment. Either way, we've got that nice flexion in the spine in case we were arching the back a little bit. But whichever way you are, prone or supine, take your time without jerking to come on up. Take a nice deep breath in, shrug out the shoulders, fix your hair if it's as crazy as mine.